Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanso, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things. And I was sitting, man, today we got a show for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my name is Charles Tabansi. My handle is CTABANZ. You want to follow the channel on Instagram, same name as the channel, DREAMERSPRO. And if you want today's full show before it comes out on YouTube, it's streamed for free on the DREAMERSPRO podcast. Anyway, let me get into this topic. We had actually finished shooting. Right, we had finished shooting, and I had a technical difficulty that I was dealing with, so I just quickly jumped back on Instagram. So I jumped back on Instagram, and I come across a clip, right? And you know, sometimes they have like these, I guess like a gallery, when you swipe across and there's like multiple shows still playing videos. So basically, I saw the first thumbnail. It was Kendrick Perkins reacting to the comments that Steve Kerr recently made. Now, some of you guys are talking about, well, what the hell did Steve Kerr say? Well, recently there was a big game on Christmas Day, and one of those marquee games was between the Golden State Warriors and the reigning champions and the defending Nuggets, featuring Nikola Jokic, Aaron Gordon, and all of these guys. So they're there playing that game. So what happens? They're playing the game, and Nikola Jokic ends up finishing that game with 18 free throw attempts. And by the way, he ended up going 18 of 18. And the Denver Nuggets ended up having 32 free throw attempts as a team to the Golden State Warriors' 23 free throw attempts. So at the end of the game, Steve Kerr was sitting at the presser, and he was talking to the press. And then while he was there, for whatever reason, I guess they were asking about the game and how it played out. Steve Kerr took it upon himself to essentially call out the way the NBA is being officiating, basically by saying that they're officiating the game in a way where they're trying to basically get rid of defense. And he thinks that players who are smart are taking advantage of it, and he doesn't like the current trend of things. So what we want to do is we're going to quickly play what Steve Kerr said. It's only about a minute or so clip. We're going to play that, then come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what Steve Kerr had to say here.
I thought we played okay. I think we can play better for sure. I thought the ball didn't always move like it could have. You know, we only had 23 assists. Didn't shoot it particularly well. But you know, you go on the road against the defending champs. You got to play your A game, and we didn't play our A game.
Jokic finished with 18 free throws. I mean, you guys were clearly upset with some of the calls.
Yeah.
Just what did you think about how big a factor was the way he was today?
Yeah. I have no problem with the officials themselves. They're all across the league. We have really good officials. I have a problem with the way we are legislating defense out of the game. That's what we're doing in the NBA. The way we're teaching the officials, we're just enabling players to BS their way to the foul line. If I were a fan, I wouldn't have wanted to watch the second half of that game. It was disgusting. It was just, you know, just baiting refs into the calls, but the refs have to make those calls because that's how they're taught. So I have a real problem with the way we've legislated defense out of the game in this league, and the players are really smart in this league, and for over the last decade or so, they've gotten smarter and smarter, and they're just we have enabled the players, and they are taking full advantage, and it's a parade to the free throw line, and it's disgusting to watch.
So you heard what Steve Kerr's original comments were. You heard that. Fantastic. We even produced a show about it, and it all depends on the order in which you're watching these shows. Fantastic. So we heard that. So I then opened up my phone to see Kendrick Perkins saying that, you know, his stomach basically turns whenever he hears Steve Kerr talks. And then as he's explaining his position, he goes a little bit too far, right, by mistakenly exposing this Cupcake era of so-called more skilled, advanced NBA players and saying, listen, if you want to go back to the former era, we can go back to that. But if we do go back to that, Stephen Curry will not be who he is, and a lot of these guys that we think are great will not be who they are. So what we want to do is want to play exactly what Kendrick Perkins had to say. I think it's about a 30-second, 40-second soundbite, and then we're going to continue on the show. Take a listen to what Kendrick Perkins had to say here.
Were Steve Kerr's comments fair or foul?
They're foul. And over the last couple of weeks, a lot of Steve Kerr comments have been foul. Matter of fact, they've been making my damn skin crawl when I think about it. Number one, if you're going to call out something, don't hide behind subliminals. Put an address on it. You were talking about Jokic and his 18 free throws because 18 of his 26 points came from the free throw line last night. That's number one. And number two, Jokic is one of the most high IQ players the game has ever seen. I played with a great player in Paul Pierce that when he didn't have it going offensively, his shots wasn't falling, he got to the free throw line. Secondly, I'm going to take a line from Finesse 2 times. It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. When Golden State was making their runs and winning championships with KD, without KD, and calls were going their way, everything was fine and dandy. Now, Steve Kerr, do you really want to go back to the old school rules? Because that might hurt your offense. Do you really want to go back to old school hand checking, stopping progress, holding up Steph Curry, getting physical with Klay Thompson? Do you really want that? Or do you want to address the problem at hand last night? That Steph Curry was 7 for 21, Klay Thompson 3 for 13. That was the real problem. Like, address that. It was nothing wrong with that game last night.
So you heard what he had to say. Did you hear some of the things he said? He said, you want to bring back hand checking? You want to bring back grabbing? You want to bring back holding? You want to bring back physical defense? You want to do all of that? You want to bring back less possessions? Because less threes, less possessions, less shots flying all over the place, less rebounds and all that. Now, here's what's interesting. Every time I turn around and we listen to sports media, we hear guys running around, twerking it up all over the place, talking about, oh, this is the greatest era since sliced bread. This is it, guys. You won't believe it. But then I sit back and I listen to the true savant to the game like Kobe Bryant talking about when he was having a conversation with Floyd Mayweather where he had basically said in this current NBA, you can't even touch these MFers. That's what Kobe said. He said you can't even touch them. But then I had to go sit down and listen to Kendrick, JJ Redick talk about how the game wasn't more physical in the past. And a lot of his contemporaries were talking about NBA legends like Dominique Wilkins and others were like, what is he on? What is he on? What kind of willful ignorance is this? What is he talking about? What's he talking about? I had to sit back and listen to Kendrick Perkins' breakdown tape to Kyle Kuzma talking about the spacing issues that the Chicago Bulls were playing with in 1998, talking about how they would run circles around him without realizing that he was revealing the fact that was a much more physical era. And Kobe was talking about now you guys can run throughout the paint and you can't hit them with an elbow, nothing. They can just run freely because they want freedom of movement. And how players like Stephen Curry benefit from that when you can't hold them and grab them and get into them and touch them and move them around. And we saw when we got some 90s defense in the playoffs 2 years ago when the Boston Celtics, who were the number one rated defense in the NBA at the time being coached by Ime Udoka, they were allowed to play physical defense against Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and they were totally stifled. I think Kevin Durant was shooting in the high 30s, low 40s for that series because they were able to play physical defense. So Kendrick Perkins mistakenly said, if you want to bring that back, a lot of the guys that we think are great today will not be great. And what does that say? I thought this was the greatest era ever. To me, this is what I think is happening. You guys are being taken for a ride. You guys are being, and by you I mean the audience, and the people that gobble up this, you know what. Y'all have been taken for a ride because they know a lot of you fans are gullible. A lot of you guys are going to believe what anybody says on television. You're not going to do your own research, number one. Number two, you're not going to think for yourself. And if a famous person says it, it must be true. They know that a lot of people out there are sheep. They understand this intrinsically about people, that most people have this propensity and proclivity to follow. Some dudes are just followers. That's all they can be. They just looking for the next dude to follow and twerk it up for. Toss their ones at them like, watch me twerk, watch me shake it for you, daddy. Let me follow you. We got a lot of dudes, including in the sports media space. All they do is love to twerk it up all over the place and follow dudes. But if you sit back and think about it with a critical eye, you realize that, hey, wait a minute, what these guys are saying is absolute nonsense. When you think about it. I sat back and listened to Kobe Bryant explain basketball. Who knows more about basketball than anybody talking about basketball in the last 10 years? And he explained some of the problems that the NBA was going to be facing. He explained why a lot of these European players are kicking these players' asses up and down the floor. If it's all about physicality and all about this, so why are these European guys dominating the NBA? Luka Doncic is nobody's going to ask Luka Doncic to enroll into the slam dunk contest. Nobody can stop him. Nikola Jokic, Stephen A. Smith used to make the joke, he can't jump on the sidewalk. Nobody can stop him. But I thought the physicality, but then we look at the game and we look at these guys dominating the league. So why are you guys making it seem like this thing that these guys possess today is setting them apart when they can't even stop Nikola Jokic? You can't stop Jokic and you're supposed to be stopping Jordan? So help me figure that Kobe was calling out some of the incongruities in basketball. But you listen to these guys, they're trying to sell you a bag of lemons. A bag of lemons disguised as a bag of apples. Talking about, oh, this is when it's not. The fact of the matter is the people that know. They know, the people that know. And what's happening is I'm beginning to see a movement on the internet where you see a lot of independent creators, and dare I say a lot of people in their 20s and 30s coming out there and saying, like, listen, enough is enough. We know that these guys on television are bought and sold. They're going to sit up there and twerk it up no matter what. Shannon Sharp saw Jordan play and all he's going to turn a blind eye, act like he doesn't know what's going on. He's going to act like, oh, well, LeBron the GOAT. It's like, really? You think that? Well, I got to say that. We all know. We all know this. And I think that people are beginning to see through the nonsense. They're beginning to see when somebody's being disingenuous, when you're taking a position that you know is not true. People are beginning to call it out. And in this moment, Kendrick Perkins called. You honestly believe that Kendrick Perkins believes that this is the greatest era. You honestly believe that. These guys talking basketball, do you honestly believe that they think that? Honestly. Do they honestly believe that? Y'all are talking about this is the greatest era ever, but all you guys do is sit up here and compare these players today to players in the past. This is the greatest era ever, yet you guys have yet to produce a Jordan. Well, that's a one and a one, so we can't really come. Okay, what about Kobe? Well, what about KD? Well, KD from this era. No, he not. Kevin Durant. When did Kevin Durant get drafted in the NBA? I believe Kevin Durant, let me check this out. Kevin Durant, let me see. Kevin Durant draft. Kevin Durant was drafted in 2007. And y'all gonna count KD a part of this era? Dwayne Wade not a part of this era. Dirk Nowitzki not a part of this era. So who y'all counting? Who's the person? John Morant? I saw Derrick Rose. I saw Russell Westbrook. Who y'all got? Who's this person? Who is he? Nikola Jokic is a hybrid. Luka Doncic is a hybrid, but I saw Paul Pierce. Nikola Jokic is the most unique player and ain't got nothing to do with athleticism. He's a unicorn onto himself. You can't count LeBron. LeBron came in 2003. So we're still trying to wait and trying to figure this out. With Anthony Edwards, I saw T-Mac. Hello? So what are we discussing here? So to me, man, listen, I think these guys are trying really hard, but sometimes they slip and fall on their own lies. And you just saw it right there. This is the greatest era ever, but yet he exposed all of the things that's making the scoring so great. So something is wrong. I thought they were doing all of this because they were skilled. Turns out that the rules have been changed. And they've softened up the game and have made it easier for players to score. If you think freedom of movement doesn't play a role in basketball, then you're an idiot. There's just no two ways about it. Even if you go play a basketball game at the at the Ruck or wherever the hell you want to, at the YMCA, wherever the hell you want to play, if you can play a game where guys are not touching and grabbing you and pulling you and getting up on you, versus you can play a game you can run around, nobody can touch you. All you have to do is grab the ball, and if you just contort your body in a particular way and flare out your body, somebody gonna call a foul. Which one is easier to play? No, you ask me. Which one would it be easier to score in? Come on, like stop. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you on the next show.